Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Armor Games Retro Reborn Bundle of October 2025. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers who are watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have The Last Stand Aftermath, a roguelike survival game set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by zombies. You play as an infected survivor, racing against time as you scavenge for supplies and push forward before the infection claims your life. As you venture out from the end, a safe zone, your infection steadily worsens, draining your health and leaving you to make tough decisions. Do you risk entering dangerous areas for supplies, or save your dwindling stamina for future fights? The game punishes missteps, with limited resources like ammo and fuel, forcing you to think critically about your survival. The combat is intense, played as a twin-stick shooter in a procedurally generated world. You'll face hordes of zombies, each type more threatening than the last. Fat zombies explode, creating poisonous clouds, while tank-like brutes soak up bullets and hit hard. Tension mounts as the infection takes hold, and a sense of urgency never lets up. While The Last Stand Aftermath excels at creating a bleak atmosphere and challenging gameplay, it does fall into a repetitive cycle. The roguelike structure means you'll die often and start from scratch, which can become tedious. However, the upgrades you unlock after each run add replay value and depth to the experience. If you're a fan of survival horror or the original series, The Last Stand Aftermath is a satisfying return to form, blending intense action with strategic resource management. At number 2 we have Swords and Souls Legacy Collection, a lovingly restored tribute to a lost era of Flash gaming. You're stepping into a time capsule where creative chaos and hand-drawn charm define the scene. Newgrounds, Armor Games, and Soul Game Studios were once the wild frontier of the internet, and now you get to relive that. This collection packs Soul Driver, The Gentleman, Rogue Soul 1 and 2, and Swords and Souls into one smooth, modern package that feels both nostalgic and refreshingly authentic. Each title captures that made-in-a-garage energy that gave indie gaming its soul. Soul Driver brings fast-paced mayhem and car-smashing chaos. The Gentleman challenges you with precise puzzle platforming flair. Rogue Soul and its sequel refined that addicting run-and-fight rhythm. And Swords and Souls remains an incredibly satisfying blend of training, battling, and upgrading. Every game is sharper, faster, and more stable than the Flash originals, with quality-of-life tweaks that make replaying them a breeze. You'll notice how seamlessly the remastering carries that quirky hand-drawn art into HD form without losing its humor or heart. The improved performance, crisp animations, and modern controls make these classics feel brand new again. If you grew up during the Flash era, or just love games that radiate personality, this collection is an absolute treat. Swords and Souls Legacy Collection is more than nostalgia. It's a celebration of a creative golden age, reborn for a new generation. At number 3 we have Defender's Quest 2 Mists of Ruin, a tactical tower defense RPG where you'll build, upgrade, and command a team of heroes against swarming monstrosities in a dying world. You take on the role of Evnie Hunt, navigating a world poisoned by juice, the corrupting power that fuels both your defenses and your enemies. Every kill refuels your arsenal, pushing you deeper into the fog-choked lands of ruin and mystery. At its core, this sequel doesn't reinvent the formula. It perfects it. You'll find the same satisfying grid-based combat as the first game, now refined with a polished, cel-shaded art style, smoother interface, and responsive controls. Each defender levels up through flexible skill trees you can freely adjust between battles, letting you min-max your strategy as you see fit. The pacing is sharp, the learning curve gentle, and the technical depth impressive for something so approachable. What makes this game unique is its personality. The witty writing and sharp banter between characters add heart to every mission. Evnie's sarcastic grit mixes perfectly the deadpan humor of her squad, and the lore subtly builds a grim, yet hopeful atmosphere. There are some minor glitches, mostly tied to sharp interactions and controller quirks, but they are small hurdles in an otherwise well-oiled experience. Whether you're a returning fan or new to tower defense, Defender Quest 2 Mists of Ruin offers a deep, clever, and addictively replayable adventure. At number 4 we have The Spirit and the Mouse, A game that offers a charming and endearing escape into a world where animals take the center stage. If you're tired of the same old protagonists and yearn for something more unique, this game delivers a heartwarming adventure. Set in the serene French village of Saint Eclair, The Spirit and the Mouse introduces us to the mouse, a diminutive yet determined character. When the village faces a power crisis, the mouse teams up with Lumion, a magical spirit, to restore the lost energy. The journey is all about exploration, puzzle solving, and lending a helping hand to the charming electrical beings known as Kiblins. Navigating the village and interacting with Kiblins brings a sense of delight. Each Kiblin offers distinct tasks, from puzzles to minigames, ensuring that the gameplay remains engaging and rewarding. Collecting light bulbs scattered throughout the village adds an extra layer of satisfaction, granting access to power-ups and upgrades that enhance your abilities. While The Spirit and the Mouse doesn't offer complex combat or intense challenges, it excels in creating a serene and relaxing atmosphere. The absence of enemies and pressure allows you to immerse yourself fully in the picturesque village and its heartwarming narrative. The game's focus on exploration and interaction makes it a wonderful choice for those seeking a tranquil gaming experience. Although it may not be a lengthy adventure, spanning around 4 hours for completion, the game's unique premise, lovable characters, and tranquil ambiance make it a delightful journey. If you're looking for a break from the norm and a chance to explore a charming world from a fresh perspective, The Spirit and the Mouse is a game that embodies the joy of discovering the extraordinary in the ordinary. And number 5 we have The Elephant Collection, a nostalgic celebration of the Flash era, a time when you'd sneak onto Newgrounds during computer lab and lose hours to pixelated chaos. You're thrown back into the world of GMTB02's wonderfully absurd Blue Elephant, now bundled into a single remastered collection that spans everything from puzzle challenges to achievement hunts and side-scrolling chaos. Across 10 games, you'll jump, dodge, obey or disobey, and question the meaning of "this is the only level." Each entry brings its own twist. Achievement Unlocked turns micro-action into progress. Obey tests your reflexes under ridiculous time pressure. Run, Elephant, Run turns heartbreak into an obstacle course. And Elephant Quest stretches into an RPG adventure with laser fights, quests, and skill trees. Everything's been polished in HD, without losing that unmistakable Flash-era weirdness. The visuals shine cleaner, menus are snappier, and performance is flawless. The soundtracks remain delightfully lo-fi, looping royalty-free bangers that instantly teleport you back to 2009 YouTube days. It's goofy, self-aware, and brimming with the same chaotic energy that made Flash games feel magical in the first place. Whether you're reliving your teenage years or discovering these classics for the first time, the Elephant Collection captures that raw, experimental joy of early internet creativity. You're reminded how much charm came from simplicity. One blue elephant, one level, infinite possibilities. And number 6 we have Bilkins Folly, a top-down treasure hunting adventure that mixes the witty charm of Monkey Island with the puzzle-driven exploration of Link's Awakening. You play as Percy Bilkins, a red-haired adventurer in search of both his missing family and piles of buried loot, joined by his loyal and occasionally goofy dog, Drayton. Across a chain of tropical islands, you'll decipher cryptic treasure maps, solve riddles, and dig up everything from gold coins to ancient artifacts. What makes this experience shine is how it captures the old-school thrill of discovery. You'll spend hours connecting sketches to landmarks, counting steps, and feeling that rush when your shovel hits pay dirt. The world is small, but packed with clever side quests, each offering new mysteries, quirky characters, and surprisingly emotional moments. Even Drayton grows with you, sniffing out clues, learning tricks, and becoming as essential as your shovel. While some of the puzzles get repetitive, especially the lock-picking minigames, and a few UI quirks can interrupt the flow, none of it buries the game's heart. The pixel art is lively and expressive, the writing is sharp and often hilarious, and the jaunty soundtrack completes the sense of adventure. Underneath its jokes and cozy visuals lies a surprisingly layered quest about legacy and connection. Bilkins Folly reminds you that the true reward isn't always the treasure, it is the joy of the hunt itself. And number 7 we have Decision Legacy Collection, a 4-part compilation that revives a cult series of Flash-era zombie survival games: Decision 1, Decision 2 New City, Decision Medieval, and Decision 3, all rebuilt to run smoothly on modern systems. You play from a top-down perspective, managing outposts, slaying hordes of undead, and upgrading weapons, abilities, and survivors to rebuild civilization one bloody block at a time. Each game evolves a formula. The first decision is simple, but sets the tone. New City expands the scope with better balance and more depth. Medieval swaps guns for crossbows and swords, offering a fresh fantasy spin. And Decision 3 ups the management aspect, maybe too much, with some punishing grind and difficulty spikes. Still, every entry provides hours of strategic mayhem, and once you get in the groove, the progression loop becomes seriously addictive. The remastering effort shines here. These aren't just lazy ports. Performance is steady, controls feel tighter, and all 4 games hold up remarkably well considering their Flash origins. Sure, there's no online or cloud saving, and the visuals remain basic, but the gameplay depth more than compensates. If you love old school strategy and survival loops, this collection delivers a ton of value for the price. You'll easily sink over 40 hours clearing zones, grinding upgrades, and fighting off waves of mutants, orcs, and zombies. Decision Legacy Collection is pure undead nostalgia. A love letter to Flash gaming, done right. At number 8 we have GemCraft, Chasing Shadows. A tower defense game that pulls you deep into a world of strategy, gem crafting, and monster slaying mayhem. If you're a fan of puzzle-like challenges, mixed with strategic depth, this game is your playground. You will find yourself managing mana, the currency for building and upgrading towers, traps, and amplifiers. The twist? You create gems that give your towers unique powers, from mana leeching to critical hits. Mixing and matching these gems opens up endless tactical possibilities. As you progress, the difficulty ramps up, with monsters becoming tougher and smarter. The game offers a variety of modes, including endurance battles where you can face up to 999 waves of enemies. You'll constantly be testing your limits, pushing your strategy to see how far you can go before being overwhelmed. Visually, the game is dark and atmospheric, with detailed fields and monsters that add to the immersive experience. While the ambient music sets the mood, it might not be long before you turn it off to focus entirely on your tactics. The beauty of GemCraft Chasing Shadows lies in its replayability. Each field can be revisited with higher difficulties, traits, and endless waves to beat your previous high scores. It is a game that challenges your strategic thinking and rewards persistence, making it a must-play for tower defense enthusiasts looking for a deep, addictive experience. At number 9 we have Crush the Castle Legacy Collection, a physics-based destructive game that revives the classic Flash series from Armor games, bringing back the joy of flinging massive stones at fragile kingdoms. You take control of a trebuchet, loading it with everything from boulders to bombs, and aim to flatten enemy castles and the unlucky royals within. Across over 300 levels, you'll master angles, timing, and power to deliver the perfect, satisfying collapse. The Legacy Collection bundles Crush the Castle 1, its player pack, Crush the Castle 2, Crush the Castle 2 player pack, and Crush the Castle Adventures, all with upscaled visuals and new achievements. The remaster feels true to the original Flash experience, simple, addictive, and oddly therapeutic, though it lacks some of the modern features fans hope for, like a level editor or Steam Workshop support. That said, the first 2 games still hold up remarkably well, offering a perfect mix of challenge and chaos. Watching a fortress crumble after a well-placed shot never gets old, and the improved visuals make the destruction even more fun to watch. The later entries, especially Adventures, feel less inspired and more repetitive, but the nostalgia value more than makes up for it. If you spent hours catapulting stone at stick figure kings back in the computer lab days, this collection will hit you right in the childhood. For just a few bucks for the bundle, you get a full dose of physics-flinging satisfaction. At number 10 we have Infectonator 3 Apocalypse, a chaotic pixel art strategy game where you unleash a deadly zombie virus across the globe. Your mission is to infect and eliminate humanity one city at a time. You start small, dropping your virus into tiny crowds, but the more you spread, the tougher resistance becomes. Humans eventually develop cures, and you'll need to mutate your zombie army, unlock new strains, and strategically target regions to keep the apocalypse rolling. The gameplay loop is addictive. Infect, upgrade, expand, repeat. You'll earn DNA to evolve zombies, and unlock special units like the Yeti or the fast-moving Runner. Some zombies are limited, others can be fused or level up, and before long, you'll be managing a full roster of undead chaos. The tutorial is bare bones, so expect to figure out most mechanics through experimentation. Once you do, the systems click beautifully, rewarding you for every clever infection chain. Achievements are a huge part of the experience. While none are missable, you'll need 3 playthroughs to get them all, 2 victories and 1 glorious loss. Expect some grind from the panic level or 500 new items achievements, though auto-click tools make it bearable. Despite a weak tutorial and repetitive moments, Infectonator 3 is a total sleeper hit. Its mix of dark humor, strategy, and retro presentation makes you feel like a mad scientist orchestrating world doom. If you love Flash-era strategy games, this is an infectiously fun throwback you lose hours to. At number 11 we have Itta, a haunting bullet hell adventure that blends intense combat with an unexpectedly emotional story. You play as a young girl, Itta, who wakes up in a mysterious dreamlike world filled with grief and spirits after finding the bodies of her family. Guided by a ghostly cat and armed with a glowing revolver, you must face 18 bosses scattered across the surreal landscapes of the garden. Each boss fight is fast, frantic, and uniquely designed to test your reflexes and patience. Unlike most bullet hell games, Itta's strength lies not only in its mechanics, but in its atmosphere and story. Every character you meet feels drenched in quiet sorrow, having already accepted their fate. This sense of calm despair weaves through the game's dialogue and world design, drawing you deeper into its cryptic lore. You're free to explore the 3 interconnected maps at your own pace, discovering secrets, hidden upgrades, and new weapons, though many can be missed entirely if you rush through. The pixel art is beautiful, and the melancholic soundtrack ties perfectly with the game's tone. Some technical hiccups, occasional crashes, frame drops, and long startup times can break immersion, but they never overshadow the experience. Itta also includes accessibility options like invincibility and boosted damage, letting everyone see the story to its end. Though short at around 4 hours, Itta lingers in your mind long after the credits roll. It's a bleak yet beautiful meditation on loss wrapped in a mesmerizing bullet storm. At number 12 we have Nauticrawl, a genre-blending roguelike puzzle simulator where you're thrown into a mysterious machine you don't understand, and the only way to survive is to figure out how to make it work. You begin trapped in a stolen submersible, surrounded by buttons, dials, and flickering monitors, with zero instructions. Every switch you flip could either move you forward or doom you instantly. The entire experience revolves around curiosity and experimentation, rewarding patience and punishing recklessness. You'll gradually learn how to power up your craft, navigate dangerous depths, and fend off threats using sonar and countermeasures, all while managing limited fuel and batteries. It's claustrophobic, stressful, and deeply satisfying once you start to connect the dots. The turn-based nature adds a layer of tension, though it is sometimes unclear what actually counts as a turn, which can lead to confusion in high-stakes moments. As you explore, you uncover cryptic messages, derelict crafts, and snippets of world building that hint at a greater story beyond your metal prison. While the narrative is light, it adds enough intrigue to keep you pushing forward. The visuals and sound design are phenomenal. The clang of metal, the hum of the engine, and the eerie silence outside the hall create an atmosphere that's equal parts mesmerizing and suffocating. Though the challenge fades as you master the controls, the first hours of Nauticrawl are unlike anything else. It's an unforgettable descent into mechanical mystery, one that makes you feel brilliant for surviving at all. At number 13 we have Don't Escape Trilogy, a clever anthology of point-and-click horror adventures that flip the escape room formula on its head. Instead of finding your way out, you're finding a way to stay in and survive. Across 3 short but distinct stories, you'll prepare for a full moon transformation, barricade against a zombie horde, and piece together a terrifying mystery aboard a silent spaceship. Each chapter challenges you to plan carefully, scavenge smartly, and make choices that determine who lives or dies. You'll rely on logic and resource management rather than luck, experimenting with every possible combinations of actions to secure the best outcome before time runs out. What makes a trilogy shine is how it rewards preparation over panic. Every decision matters, and replaying to perfect the strategy is half the fun. Don't Escape 2, with its time scavenging and base fortification, stands out as the most tense and strategic entry, while the third installment leans deeper into story and atmosphere. Script Welder's pixel art style, eerie ambiance, and minimalist storytelling create a nostalgic yet chilling mood that feels straight out of the Flash game era, by a sharper presentation and smoother pacing. Even without new content, the trilogy feels timeless thanks to its haunting scenarios and clever design. If you grew up on web horror games or crave sharp, brainy, and atmospheric adventures that test both your logic and your nerves, this trilogy is absolutely worth locking yourself into. At number 14 we have Deep Sleep Trilogy, a haunting collection of point-and-click horror games to drop you into a dark, surreal dreamscape filled with dread and mystery. Across 3 short entries, Deep Sleep, Deeper Sleep, and deepest sleep, you uncover fragments of a nightmarish world that feels both familiar and wrong, where every shadow hints at something lurking just beyond sight. You'll explore decrepit offices, endless stairwells, and cold stone corridors, piecing together your escape through clever puzzles and eerie atmosphere. What makes these games so powerful is how they use simplicity to terrify. There are no loud jump scares or over-the-top monsters. Instead, tension builds up slowly through environmental details and sound design that gnaws at your nerves. You're never sure what's real, or if you've ever truly woken up. Each installment improves on the last, adding deeper lore, sharper pacing, and in the finale, even multiple endings and real danger. Despite their brevity, the trilogy feels rich of ideas and emotion. Every moment counts, and every discovery deepens the unease. It is the perfect example of how horror doesn't need photorealistic graphics to be effective, just the right balance of restraint and imagination. If you love atmospheric horror like The Last Door or Fran Brow, this is an essential experience. You can play all three in about an hour, but they'll linger in your head for days after. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is an absolute must for retro hunger games and nostalgia seekers. Packed with classic Armor Games titles, from trebuchet wrecking fun to mind-bending horror adventures, it offers hours of value for pennies. Whether you're dusting off old school vibes or discovering hidden gems for the first time, it's a steal. Grab it, dive in, and let the good old days of indie gaming rage on. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.